All right, guys, so we got to talk about a interview on NBC that went off the rails as Chuck Todd lost his mind over the fact that Republicans are investigating Hunter Biden. Now, Chuck Todd poses as a nonpartisan, non-biased journalist who has problems with both sides of the political aisle, right? I got problems with both sides, okay? I go after Republicans the same way I go after Democrats. That is what he wants us to think. However, I have proof and evidence in context of this type of conversation and these types of investigations that Chuck Todd is not that, okay? He's a Democrat Party propaganda artist, and he's posing as non-biased and non-partisan. But again, this interview right here between him and Senator Ron Johnson is going to go off the rails because Chuck Todd obviously does not like the fact that Republicans are investigating Hunter Biden, and they're really investigating Joe Biden, okay? Because we're trying to figure out how much was Joe Biden involved in his son's business dealings, and were there any illegal activities or crimes committed, which I think they probably were, okay? But again, Chuck Todd, not so much. And again, he's going to get triggered by Ron Johnson explaining why Republicans are investigating Hunter Biden. Now, just so you guys can get full context of this interview, it's really long, but I'm going to make it short for this video. Ron Johnson just finished explaining how the FBI tried to obstruct investigation into Hunter Biden and his laptop, and basically went out of their way to try to censor the story through social media as well, just so you guys get full context in regards to where this conversation is picking off on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Senator, do you have a crime that you think Hunter Biden committed? Because I've yet to see anybody explain it is not a crime to make money off your last name.
Before you answer that question, again, that's the point of the GOP investigating, to see which crimes were committed. There are a host of potential crimes that Hunter could be charged with, and I hope Joe Biden gets charged with something as well too if he's involved, having to do with foreign transfers, gifts, tax evasion, all types of stuff that could potentially be crimes or chargeable offenses. But in Chuck Todd's world, I don't see any crimes, right? I don't see any crimes, and you shouldn't be investigating it. This is a waste of time and money, according to Chuck Todd. I don't see it.
So, Chuck, you ought to read the Marco Polo report, where they detail all kinds of potential crimes. You know, Senator Grass and I certainly
let me just stop you there. Potential. Potential is innuendo.
About $30,000.
That's why you do investigation.
I mean, Chuck, is it a crime to be soliciting and purchasing prostitution in potentially European sex trafficking operations? Is that a crime? Because Chuck Grass and I laid out about $30,000 paid by Hunter Biden to those types of individuals over December 2018, 2019, about $30,000. This is about the same time that President Biden offered to pay about $100,000 of Hunter Biden's bills.
Yeah, I mean, look, we know Hunter Biden loves his prostitutes, okay? Now, look, what he does in his spare time, you know, in regards to buying box, that's on him. But if he's involved in some type of, you know, sex trafficking thing, right, then yeah, that is a crime, okay? If he's involved in that, this type of stuff that they are investigating, that they're looking into, okay? Chuck Todd, is not a hard concept to understand here.
Again, that's just some information. I don't know exactly.
Here's what I don't get.
All
right, Senator.
It doesn't really look on the. It sounds sleazy, as you know.
I'll take you at your word that you're ethically bothered by Hunter Biden.
Well, you're just ethically bothered by Hunter Biden, right? You're ethically bothered by it. Your investigation into him is not legitimate. I don't believe there's any crimes. I haven't seen any crimes. No possibility that, you know, the Biden family is committing crimes, right? It can't be. Not possible, according to Chuck Todd.
I'm curious, though. You seem to have a pattern.
Are you not?
I seem to have a pattern. I'm a journalist. I have to deal in facts.
I'm a
deal in facts. So, Senator, my question to you is, I'm always worried. I have skepticism of both parties. I sit here with skepticism of a lot of people's work. And
right. you got skepticism of both parties. Yeah, we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But I'm going to finish this interview first. But we're going to get into that. We're going to see how Chuck Todd reacts when Democrats are trying to investigate Trump and his family's financial dealings. We're going to get into that in a little bit and Chuck Todd's reaction to it. But notice how he used well, I'm a journalist, right? I only deal with facts, right? He uses that as a way to try to cover himself or to try to have some type of appeal to the authority. You know, Neil deGrasse Tyson does the same thing. I don't know if you guys seen that recent interview Neil deGrasse Tyson did where he talked about the vaccine. He was debating the vaccine with somebody. And guys like, well, I'm a scientist, right? I'm a scientist. Again, he uses that, again, as an appeal to authority. Like he's some type of authoritative figure. And even though, you know, he does not have the facts on his side, he just pulls, well, I'm a scientist as a way to try to cover himself and to make it seem like everything that he says is legitimate.
Curious, were you at all concerned? Your Senate Democrats want to investigate Jared Kushner's loan from the Qatari government when he was working in the government negotiating many things in the Middle East. Are you not concerned about that? And I say that because it seems to me if you're concerned about what Hunter Biden did, you should be equally outraged about what Jared Kushner did.
Yeah, but what crime did he commit, though, Chuck? And if what Jared Kushner did is so bad, then why weren't Democrats interested in Jared Kushner before all this, right? They weren't that interested in looking at Jared Kushner. All of a sudden, they became interested in it as a response to the Republicans looking into Hunter Biden, right? Once the Hunter Biden stuff really ramped up, that's when it was like, oh, Jared Kushner in Saudi Arabia. If there was something there, they would have looked into it a long time ago because we all know how the Democrats are desperate to get anything on Trump, even the most minuscule thing like Trump's tax returns. They'll go after it, right? So again, if Jared Kushner was such a big deal and what he was doing, then I think Democrats would have put a lot more effort behind it before, but they didn't because they're only interested in it in response to the Hunter Biden thing. That's it.
I'm concerned about getting the truth. I don't target individuals.
You don't? You're targeting Hunter Biden multiple times on this show, Senator. You're targeting an individual.
Chuck, my concern,
Dude, Chuck, that's so smug.
Part of the problem, and this is pretty obvious to anybody watching this, is you don't invite me on to interview me. You invite me on to argue with me. I'm just trying to lay out the facts that certainly Senator Grassley and I uncovered. They were suppressed. They were censored. They interfered in the 2020 election. Conservatives understand that. Unfortunately, liberals in the media don't. And that's part of the things that part of the reasons our politics are inflamed is we do not have an unbiased media. We don't. It's unfortunate. I'm all for a free press. It needs to be more unbiased.
Senator,
there's misinformation on both sides, but the censorship and suppression
we're trying to do issues here in
from the left.
Partisan cable. Look, you can go back on your partisan cable cocoon and talk about media bias all you want. I understand it's part of your identity. Let me move to.
Oh my God, media bias is a part of your identity. You can go back to your partisan cable cocoon, and that's not what NBC is. NBC wasn't overtly partisan when they was peddling every Trump conspiracy theory that the Democrats put out there, okay, including the Russia hoax, including basically trying to cover up the Paul Pelosi story, what happened to him, okay? Again, this guy, Chuck Todd, when he had an interview with Adam Schiff and the Democrats were investigating Trump's financial dealings, this is what his response was to Adam Schiff. Take a look.
What U.S. policies do you believe have already been influenced by that you fear might have been influenced by financial dealings with the president?
Well, unquestionably, the U.S. response to the Russian hacking of our election has been influenced by something. Whether it's been influenced by the president being concerned that his effort to build the Trump Tower deal would come out, because, of course, the Russians knew about it. They were on the other end of that transaction. Dmitry Peskov was involved in the cover-up of that. Whether that was the motivation or whether there's other motivation or whether it's simply Donald Trump reacting to the question that's been raised about his legitimacy because of the taint over the election, I don't know, but we need to find out.
Is Saudi Arabia fit into that in your mind? And is that something you plan on investigating as well?
Well, Saudi Arabia certainly could fit into it. If the Saudis were funneling money into the inauguration committee, or the Saudi investment in the Trump businesses, buying hotel rooms, the deals that Trump talked about during the campaign that made him love the Saudis so much, if that's warping U.S. policy, if it's affecting the president's unwillingness to criticize the Crown Prince over the murder of Khashoggi, then we need to know about it. Now, some of this may be the purview of our committee. Some of it will be the purview of other committees. We will be working amongst ourselves to make sure that we don't step on each other's toes and that we work in a coordinated way.
What do you believe that Deutsche Bank financial records are going to show you? Because that's one of the things. This is a bank that the Trump organization did some work with. Why them? What will their records show?
Well, the concern about Deutsche Bank is that they have a history of laundering Russian money. They paid hundreds of millions of dollars in fines to the state of New York because they were laundering Russian money. And this apparently was the one bank that was willing to do business with the Trump organization. Now, is that a coincidence? What do we make of what the president's sons are reported have said about not needing to deal with U.S. banks because they got all the cash they needed from Russia, or a disproportionate share of their assets coming from Russia? If this is a form of compromise, it needs to be exposed.
You have, Gina Haspel, the director of the CIA, has now given a briefing, I believe, to House leaders, I believe the Intelligence Committee. I assume you have now been briefed on this. What you have now learned, we've heard, Bob Corker.
Yeah, so that was non-biased, nonpartisan journalist Chuck Todd basically giving Adam Schiff a very softball interview in softball response to Adam Schiff and the investigation into Trump and his family financial dealings. Where was all that pushback, Chuck? Right? Where was all the pushback? Where was all that smoke? You didn't have any smoke for them. But, you're completely 100% unbiased and you're nonpartisan. Really? Amazing. Right? Absolutely amazing. These people in the mainstream liberal media kill me, bro. They got so much smoke for Republicans, but they have none for Democrats. And then they want to get mad when people attack them and say, hey, you journalists are like literally Democrat Party cheerleaders, right? Your Democrat Party propagandists, they want to get offended and then pull the, well, I'm a journalist card. It is a sin to criticize us when we had the receipts, bro. The exact same thing. When Adam Schiff was going up there pushing his BS, spewing BS about Trump and his financial dealings, you had no smoke, right? You were supportive of the investigations. Now all of a sudden Republicans want to investigate Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. Oh, well, this seems like you're just trying to go after Hunter for no reason. What crimes did he commit? I ain't seen no crimes. Why are you doing this? It's amazing how this works. Again, these are people who cry foul, who want to boo-hoo whine when people criticize them. But this is the reason why. Because we got receipts on you people. You people are not nonpartisan. You're not unbiased. And just admit it. I wouldn't be as upset with it if they just was overt about, okay, yeah, we're Democrat Party cheerleaders. Watch this network if you want a angle that is going to be in favor of the Democrats. If they just come out and say it, hey, I ain't got that much of a problem with it. Even though I don't like MSNBC, at least they're kind of overt about the fact that, hey, we just cheer for the Democrats. Okay? The problem I have with NBC is that MSNBC is that their rhetoric is getting to the point where they're just flat out sponsoring terrorism against Republicans, right? They're sponsoring political violence against Republicans. That's my problem with them. But, hey, I don't have a problem with them being Democrat Party cheerleaders because they just openly said that they are, right? As long as you admit it, right? But what I can't stand is people like Chuck Todd who pretend to be in the middle, who pretend to be objective, and that he got smoke for both sides when it's clearly obvious that he doesn't. I'm just saying. Absolutely amazing. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.